6.6 Stygian Menacing. I bite on Mualani to funnel energy into Mona, and then this is the wolf, so he needs Pyro or Electro Swirls to take down his shield. So we do that with Sucrose and the Pyro Traveler. And we saw this wolf in a previous Stygian, or not, we saw this in a previous Abyss, and I found out that Mualani Hex Vape works wonderfully into it, so that's why we're doing this. He falls down, we do a rotation with Mona, Sucrose, then Pyro Traveler, and you can see we deal a ton of damage to him, so this boss is not difficult at all. In fact, this Menacing is definitely one of the easier ones. I think I was able to clear this guy pretty much first try, even on mobile, and that just kind of shows how easy it is. Anyways, it's more of the same rotation, Mona, Sucrose, and Traveler, then into Mualani. He does have one annoying attack where he'll jump up and away, but other than that, he doesn't have that much attacks. It's really easy to get stacks with Mualani, and then now we funnel energy to Mona again, and then I throw the Sucrose Burst to infuse it with Pyro with the Pyro Traveler, and that just helps me take down his shield much faster, and I'm able to get in 2 Mualani bites here. Once again, so I cast the burst, but there's no Pyro, so it's kind of a waste, and then I just go in for my final rotation. And there's not much else to say here. This boss is very straightforward with Hex Mualani. So yeah, and one more bite, and he's down. Next up, we have the Hydro Tulpa. This is one of the few bosses that you can actually still use Hyperbloom on and have a good result. Only in Menacing though. In Fearless, I tried it, I couldn't find a comp to beat him, and Hyperbloom just doesn't have enough damage. But Hyperbloom is a very easy comp to run. The only thing you really have to worry about here is making sure you get the good Kuki skill uptime, and that's definitely helped by the fact that I have C2 Kuki, so her skill cooldown is shorter than the actual duration of the skill. Other than that, it's just cycling abilities, making sure I always have Dendro and that I always have Electro, and just making sure that the uptimes are good. This is basically a quick swap team, and I don't need to stay on field with anyone other than maybe Baiju, because he can apply Dendro with his normal attacks. But this the other skillful thing is making sure to hit the small Tulpas with Dendro so that they instantly die and he doesn't get to absorb them and deal more damage. I don't know if he gets more resistance if he absorbs one, but it's just good to not let him absorb the smaller Tulpas. So that's the other skillful thing, which is not really skillful because, as you just saw there, the Baiju skill can home in on them and take him out from me. And also, in the Menacing version, the small Tulpas die in 1 Dendro hit, but in the Fearless version, it only dies to 1 Cryo hit. It takes multiple Dendro hits, which is really annoying. Another reason why Hyperbloom doesn't really work too well into it. But this boss is super simple, this team is super simple, and we're going to be able to take it out. For the final boss, we have the new one from the Mondstadt expansion, and it took me a bit of figuring out because I've never fought this boss before. But you'll see he has a bar, and we have to infuse it with either Hydro, Pyro, Electro, or Cryo. And so the first one I do Hydro, and then the next one, and then he has 2 of these, so that was the first one. The second one, I'm going to want to infuse it with Pyro, and it's because the help text says that it will be easier if you infuse the 2 elements with different ones. So you see I switch off the Furina pets into the healing mode so that I can ensure that I get the Pyro application here. And so after he does those 2 things, he's going to summon 2 crystals of the elements which you infused with the 2 bars earlier. And the interesting thing about these crystals is that they are immune to the element that you infuse them with. So you need 2 DPSs in this team, like considerable DPSs, in order to be able to take down the crystals. And when you take down the crystals, he takes a bunch of damage and then he falls down. And he has really low health at this point, so I don't have to go to another one of those crystal phases, so I don't really care about the elemental application right now, and I'm just full sending all my damage. And so you saw there that it took me a while to take down the crystals. I had to use a lot of DPS to do it. but he also takes damage when he falls down, so it all works out in the end. And this boss is not too difficult to beat or to have figured out, so it was nice, and this Stygian was one of the easier ones. Now onto the builds. The only interesting thing here is that Mona is not running the new Hexarize set. It's because I haven't had enough time to farm for it. And the other thing is that I have to make sure to have Deepwood and Instructor in the Kale Baiju combo.